Mars?
Yes, sir.
Hit it.
Hit it. We don't know how, but by golly, from the Sugar Shack Studios in Texas, USA, this is the award-winning in-wheel time car talk show. What kind of award was that, Mr. Mars?
It's a podcast. Our podcast won an award.
Okay.
It was On Time Award.
Yeah. This hour, he's fresh back from the SEMA show in Las Vegas with an empty wallet. From Paint House, it's Randy Borcherding.
Yay.
Also, I'll give you my thoughts on driving the 2024, was it the 24? Lexus NX 350. And Jeff has the Motor Minute. That and more in this segment of the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, and he's out of his mind this morning. We always need more Jeff Zekin. Chief Engineer David Ainsley will be joining us later. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this chilly, rainy morning here.
Chili, yeah. I'm not into chili. No.
You don't like chili?
I'm not a cold person.
No, but I'm talking about chili.
Oh, chili, yeah.
Chili with or without beans?
It doesn't matter. Just put it in front of me. I'll eat it.
I'm not a big... I don't want beans in my chili.
I don't care. We'll get yours on the side.
The beans?
Yeah.
No, I don't need them. You don't want me to have
he's
those.
got too much other stuff on the side. You don't need any more beans.
Don't need any beans. And if you're wondering why... You may not be wondering, maybe you don't care, but we were supposed to be at the Gulf Coast Auto Shield Car Social today. However, with the weather, it was canceled a couple of days ago, and I know that Mr. Mars has put stuff out there to let everybody know that today it wasn't canceled, it's postponed, from what I understand, to Saturday, January 11th.
Right. Mike likes putting out on that, yeah.
I put out whenever I can.
Ooh. I don't want to know. But anyway, so that's coming up on the 11th now. And we will have our broadcast from there, 10 to noon. The Car Social is from 9 to noon. We'll be there at 9. We'll be there at 8, actually. But we won't be on the air until our normal broadcast time.
And that's over a month from now. 11th?
January the 11th.
January 11th.
Yeah, so a little bit, 5 weeks, I think, something like that. So anyway, now that we got you all caught up and confused on that, let us turn our attention now to the Paint House Studios of Randy Borcherding and his wife, Jen. And I assume that he is there. Can you hear us, Randy?
I got you. You got me?
Oh, yeah, baby, we got you. How you doing?
I'm good, guys. What's up?
Are you in the paint room?
I am in the paint room.
How did I know that? I kind of felt that.
You can probably smell it from there.
Yeah,
yeah, it's a little stiff. Yeah.
Sadly, I can't smell it at all.
No,
not at all.
You must have COVID.
No, that's too many fumes over the years. Yeah,
it's probably that. And when I got the OG COVID back in 20, my smell's never been the same.
Really?
Yeah, my wife did that. She lost her sense of smell, and it's just barely back.
Yeah, same. It ruins meals. You might as well just eat the things that are good for you.
Yeah, either that or, just sniff. Well, not even a loaf of white bread. I mean, if you can't smell, you can't smell.
Oh, indeed, you can't. I mean, a little bit of coffee. That new car smell. It's not there. So why buy it? Anyway, it ruins a lot of things.
Well, that's a shame. I'm sorry.
It is.
Well, I'm glad that you're with us this morning. I really wanted to talk to you about SEMA. Did you have a car in SEMA this year?
We had two, actually. One was a former project built 15 years ago, kind of showing it off as a car that 15 years later still presents itself well.
Wow.
65 Mustang. Fastback, and the other, the debut car, is a 70 Cougar convertible that won the Best Ford Car at SEMA award, which was pretty dang cool.
Wow,
70 Cougar.
So were these old customers of yours that let you borrow their cars for, I guess, displays?
Yeah, I mean one is a customer we've done many cars for, the Mustang. and he's happy to have his stuff shown off. The Cougar is it's the first time we built a car for this gentleman, but he's been a customer a long time because the project has taken a long time.
Well, it's a Cougar, and that's a rare car in itself.
Awesome car.
It is. It's, even though it's built on the Mustang foundation, it's unique for sure.
Well, from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, I understand that it may be the foundation, but there aren't a whole lot of interchangeable parts between the Mustang and the Cougar.
No, perhaps the windshield frame, windshield, floor pan, but even the wheelbase is different.
Yeah.
The Cougar is a longer wheelbase, rode a little nicer, allegedly, a gentleman's hot rod versus a hot rod.
Well,
I agree.
All right. Did it have a stock motor in it?
No, sir. It had would it come in the 04 Cobra Mustangs, the Terminator engine, they call it. It's a little 4.6, but supercharged, beefed up a little bit, made about 600 horsepower or so.
Nice.
Well, thank God it's not an LS.
Indeed. And nothing wrong with the LS, but a Ford is, I think, the way to go.
I totally agree. And and I know that a lot of people, but the LS is so easy. Well, it's not about being easy in my book. It's about being correct. And to me, this is just me. I want a Ford and a Ford. I want a Chevy and a Chevy. And if it's a Buick, not a GM, but if it's a Buick, I want a Buick engine.
Absolutely.
I do not disagree in most cases. There are exceptions where I'd change that rule.
Okay. And what are those?
The Cutlass we're building, 68 Cutlass. They want to drive it. They want a reliable powertrain. They want to get on the highway. And you can decorate a LS to look like an Oldsmobile engine and give you, in my opinion, a lot more reliability.
And I am right there with you. I think that's perfectly admissible. At least it's a General Motors product.
Correct. We didn't cross the lines. Yes, sir. We're dating cousins.
And they were also, that's good. I like that. And there was also a period of time when, that big row, if you will, came out about, well, wait just a minute. I bought me an Oldsmobile. I bought me a Buick, and this has got a General Motors engine that's shared among other platforms. Remember that? What was that, the 70s or 80s?
Yes.
70s, into the 80s.
Yeah, right about 1980-ish, I think that they crossed the line and got into all sorts of trouble and big lawsuits and all that. And now...
I remember when they were putting the Oldsmobile engines in Pontiac Trans Ams and Chevrolet engines, and they crisscrossed a lot.
Yeah, and they're clearly going for the generic engine that they could put in all makes and models of cars, and I get that. And look what we got out of it. I mean, we got the LS, which is a beautiful engine that has really stood the test of time.
Exactly.
I got the LS1 in my old Corvette. Hey, and it sings right along. It's not a big powerhouse thing. I think 345 horsepower, but it's plenty for me. It's fine.
Right. And it doesn't leak oil, and it probably gets fairly good economy if you keep your right foot under control.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I just put $53 worth of premium fuel in it, and it got 22 miles per gallon, and that's Highway City here in town. And that car is 23 years old.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And
I agree.
Yeah, and so you can't beat that, because back in the day, I had a horrible the car was nice. It was mine. I bought it, ordered it from the factory, a 1977 Corvette with an L82 engine. Remember those things?
My sister had a 78 with the L82, and I hated that car because I always had to work on it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it had a carburetor on it, and it ran, but I can't. What, 175 horsepower? You kidding me?
Yeah.
And it swallowed gas to get the 100.
I remember reading somewhere that era, the Corvette was heavier than the half-ton pickup truck.
That wouldn't surprise me. That not at all.
Yeah, not by much though.
Well, it was a lead block up front, and a lead heads and the whole 9 yards. There was no, and all of the overkill on the EPA stuff. The emissions with the pumps, and it was just awful. But at any rate,
Indeed.
If it weren't for all of that, we wouldn't appreciate the LS today. So let's
agreed.
talk about
Agreed.
Paint House and what you got cooking now.
Presently, I guess back behind me is that Cutlass we discussed. I'll walk that way and flip the camera around.
Okay.
Just got it painted right before
SEMA.
SEMA.
Of
And
course.
it's just
Were you sweating bullets?
sitting here drying. I'm trying to figure out how to flip the camera around.
Were you
That ought
sweating
do
bullets to
There
get
we
it
go.
ready for SEMA?
Oh, of course. between getting this thing sprayed and the Cougar done and the Mustang, I mean, it's a lot.
Okay, so I guess I just don't follow along. So this car went to SEMA, but it's in
No.
pieces today.
This car did not. This car was painted as we were getting the other cars ready for
Oh,
SEMA.
dear God. So it was big crunch time then.
Yeah. It's,
Even though the other ones, I guess, were semi-ready to go.
well, you think that. The Mustang pretty much was. It's been done for so long, it doesn't take much to get it ready. The Cougar, we were still building the car, the night before SEMA, essentially, because it's the first time you put it together fully.
Yep.
And
Did you have to do any last-minute tweaks or adjustments or assembly when you got to SEMA?
not so much. It behaved. I'll put it that way. They don't always. Trailer rides are always interesting. I love our ATC trailer, but they can only take so much of the roughness out of these highways we have.
Sure.
And sometimes things happen, and you get a surprise when you get where you're going. In this case, we were fortunate that didn't happen.
Well, I'll say, because I've seen cars that, are all ready to go, ready to pop right into the show space, and they open the trailer, and the car has walked inside the trailer, and it's rubbed one of the fenders raw.
I've had that happen. I've had coilovers break. I've had 4-bar bolts come out. I mean, you never know what might happen when you open that. It's like a bad Christmas morning. You got to open your present.
And when you put it in there, it's all good and everything's fine, and you've got it all tied down, and you've done all of the crisscross stuff, and you got just the right amount of tension on the suspension, and it's not going to walk. And
Boom.
there it is.
Yep. Now, here's something to talk about. We use Max tie downs, big believer in their product. They purport to tie them down straight, not crisscrossed.
Okay.
I've tried it. That's when my vehicle did scoot sideways and rub a fender well. I think of it like guitar strings, right? You can get them tight, but there's still a little bit of side-to-side, I guess, availability to move under the right conditions.
And they stretch.
Crisscrossing keeps it where you put it unless one of them breaks. And that's their theory, is that if one strap breaks for whatever reason, then the car can shift sideways and it'll hit even more so. So I don't know. I don't know what's right or wrong, but I've always believed in the crisscross method.
Yeah, that's the way I've always heard and seen it done. I have not done it myself. But the other thing is, in these trailers, I'm surprised that they don't have some sort of cleat system that you can drive the car onto a cleat that can accept a tire, and no matter what happens, you may get a white wall burnished a little bit, but you're not going to have the car walk inside the trailer with a cleat.
Well, they have over the tire strap methods,
right,
where you can literally strap on the tire. But here's the problem: what if you lose air in that tire? It has happened that way too.
Oh Lord, yeah, exactly.
And now you got a loose situation. So
you got a loose nut behind the wheel.
That's always the case with me.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's no perfect way to do it. Just figure out what you're comfortable with and monitor it as the best you can do.
Sure. So when are you going to have the Oldsmobile done? Well, allegedly.
I'd like to say summertime. It'll be back together.
Yeah.
I've got the suspension parts in the booth we're painting. The chassis powder coated. The engine trans are ready to go. So it's time to put it back together once I got a little more spraying to do.
Last time we talked to you, you were looking for an upholsterer because you had lost yours, I don't know where it was, Georgia or Alabama or somewhere.
Tennessee, yes, sir.
Okay. Did you find anybody?
Well, we're using Sculpt Garage over in San Marcos with great success. He did the Cougar. It's beautiful. Car's in the trailer, or I'd show it to you maybe on the next call. He's phenomenal, but he's a small shop and he can only do so much. So the Cutlass may need to go to somebody. If you're out there, let me know.
Okay. That's a fair call.
Yep. Because I'll be honest, I haven't found one in Houston yet.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of surprising, as big as this city is, and of all the shops around town.
I agree, and honestly, it never ceases to amaze me the things I cannot find when I need them in a town this size.
Well, here's what I see on that. You've got plenty of upholstery shops, but do they meet the criteria that he's looking for? That's the problem is.
That's exactly the point, yes. We have a certain standard we're looking for, and not to dismay any shops out there, but they all have a place, and not all of them want to do this level work, just like collision shops.
Yeah.
Most of them know how to make their money, and they don't want to deal with show cars.
And unlike us, we don't have any standards. So there you go.
We have no standards whatsoever.
That explains why I'm on the phone with you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Jen's not listening to this issue.
Oh, I hope not.
But she already knows all that about you anyway.
Yeah,
by the way, how is she doing?
She's awesome. I'll just put it this way. Thank God for hot chicks with low standards.
Yeah, amen to that. Well, so we got the Oldsmobile cooking. Anything else in there?
69 Vet. You guys have seen it in the past. It's been on pause for a while. We're about to get back into it. It's also ready for an upholstery shop. Hint, hint. And then it's time to polish it and button it up. It starts. It runs. It's very close to the finish line. And red 57 convertible Chevy you guys saw last call.
Yep,
it's
the
old 2.4 barrel Bel Air, really nice, straight, clean car. Just did a repair on it. And then we've got this C10 truck behind us here that we have yet to begin on. So it's going to be a very custom, heavily modified, hot rod truck that we haven't opened that can of worms yet.
Gotcha. Well, it's always good to have stuff in the pipeline.
Indeed. Just need employees. That's the problem.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
I've lost two of my main guys. I don't know where the heck I put them. And man, if you're out there and want to do something in this industry, holler at me. I could use a couple good hands, or four. I
like it. Randy, it's always good to talk to you, my friend, especially here before Christmas. We love you, and we hope you and your family have a wonderful Christmas and the holiday season and all. And hopefully, I'm going to call your buddy up there with the dyno in January, and hopefully schedule some time with him in February. I want to get
excellent.
Yeah, I've got to get that harmonic balancer changed on there, and I got a feeling that he'll know how to do that the right way.
Indeed, and he's a good tuner. You'll have luck.
Very good. Randy,
all right, guys.
It's great. You. Randy Borcherding Paint House. Thank you, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
Take care. It's always good. Mm-hmm. Hey, you can catch the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show 24/7 at InWheelTime.com and the Odyssey radio app. It's drilled into my mind. I can't help it.
Well, it takes a bit.
We also video stream our weekly show on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com, and podcasts available from your favorite podcast provider. The InWheelTime.com Car Talk Show continues right after this quick pit stop.
The Tex-Mex dining experience is defined by Lupi Tortilla, your destination for Texas's best beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. Since 1983, Lupi Tortilla has served authentic and time-tested recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Atmosphere is part of the award-winning experience at Lupi Tortilla, all developed in a little house near Highway 6 and I-10 in West Houston. Visit any of the Lupi Tortillas and you'll see the same attention to detail in each and every location. Start your Lupi experience with queso flammeado and guacamole, along with a classic frozen margarita. Dine on famous Lupi beef and chicken fajitas, or pepper shrimp brochette, or a fish or vegetarian entree, and finish with a scrumptious flan for dessert. Find Lupi Tortilla in Houston, College Station, Beaumont, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas-Fort Worth. There's a Texas location near you. The recipes are authentic and time-tested. The ingredients always fresh. Lupi Tortilla, he's pretty good. Your car is a direct reflection of you, so don't be satisfied with color fade or a dingy, dull appearance. Get rid of those terrible automated car wash scratches. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your Save the Paint company. John Gray and his team of detailing experts can help your cars finish without a full repaint. Searching for the real experts in window tint or windshield protection? Gulf Coast Auto Shield. Dash cams, radar detectors, Gulf Coast Auto Shield. Got a new car? Get that thing protected as soon as you take delivery. If you don't know which of the multitude of protection products to go with, John Gray will give you an honest opinion and won't sell you something you don't need or can't afford. John will help you understand the many options and pricing right on the spot. He's your guy to have your ride looking its best and protected too. See the state-of-the-art shop yourself. Free tours anytime. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is easy to get to, located just south of the Southwest Freeway on the Sam Houston Parkway. Gulf Coast Auto Shield, full-service luxury car care today, and online at gcautoshield.com.
Hey, you know, the holidays are here, and we hope that you'll think of our show sponsors this season, including the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex restaurants, Pro-Am Auto, and Gulf Coast Auto Shield. Do you need some more time?
No.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay. Time now for Jeff's Motor Minute.
All right. Well, here we go. So, do you know that Chevrolet is not going to be with NASCAR? Chevrolet drops the Camaro branding.
Wait a minute.
From NASCAR. They dropped the branding from NASCAR. The car will still be there, but there won't be anything that says Camaro on it. Check this out. Next season, Chevrolet NASCARs will be going to a different look. For starters, there will be no Camaro branding on the cars. Of course, Chevy stopped producing the Camaro at the end of 2023. A lot of fans, those in the industry, were wondering what's going to go on with the branding. It now appears that much will change except the lack of the Camaro on the rear bumper. Chevrolet and GM, they're in a tough spot. They knew this was coming, but they have no plan for the future. Here's what they're predicting.
Oh, God.
Cadillac could replace Chevrolet in NASCAR.
Oh, are you kidding
baby.
me?
In case you haven't heard, Cadillac and GM are getting into Formula One in 2026, which is awesome. There's all kinds of other stories about that, too. It'll float your head.
Oh, my God.
The big move for the manufacturer is America will now be vested interest in the Global Racing Series. So could GM put Cadillac in NASCAR? They already race in IMSA and the WEC, which is the World Endurance Challenge. I watch it all the time when it's on. And sports car racing. The next-gen CT5 could actually be the badass NASCAR car. That would be awesome. Chevrolet, in many ways, and NASCAR, they want to get together. But in stock car racing, it's less about the racing and more about selling the cars. Win on Sunday, sell on Mondays.
And the drama with the drivers.
But putting a plain Chevrolet on track, what product are they really selling? There you go. I want Cadillac in there as well. And then you know what? We need to get the Buick back. Did I tell you about a Buick? That's awesome.
You did mention that a time or two.
Seems I heard something about that.
Yes, it's all rumor, I'm sure.
Yeah,
and lies. Thank you, Jeffrey.
Yep.
Time now for this hour's car review. Had a chance to drive the Lexus NX 350h for 2025. This car is an SUV. Built in Canada. Comes in 3 trim levels, the base, the premium, and the luxury. I think I would call the base something other than nothing, other than just the plain, you call it...
Does it say base on the name?
No, it doesn't. I called it that. But what else would you call it?
You're just because you can get more options on other styling.
Well, I understand, but I mean...
You still got to have a name.
Whatever. So I had the luxury, which is the top of the line, all-wheel drive. This is a small SUV. Seats 5. Exterior changes from last year, none. It was all new in 2022. Nose looks heavy on this vehicle with that protruding spindle grille, but somehow it works. Sculpted sides give it an hourglass figure. Looks good. Rear hatch mimics the nose, but on a much smaller scale, obviously. Attention to design detail is outstanding on this car and very noteworthy as well. What I liked about it, the overall design gets high marks, including the wheels on this car. And I never really talked too much about wheels, but I like them. What could use improvement? Nothing. Good job, Lexus. Interior highlights, awesome design overall with the built-in large infotainment screen, which is, I I don't understand why manufacturers don't build the infotainment screen into the dash like this one is, but they continue to, stick them on top of the dash to look like an afterthought. Contrasting soft surfaces exude a luxury feel. Make-believe wood trim is high quality, and fit and finish overall is superb. Door handles are electronic and add a nice touch to it. So you just kind of press the button on the door handle on the inside to get out. It's really cool. Cargo trunk room adequate for its small size. What I liked about it, speakers built into the door panel. It's a really nice design touch that I liked. What could use improvement? The ability to change commands of ancillary equipment from the steering wheel can be confusing because it has dots. Painted dots on this 4-button thing.
Wow. And,
you can see what you're changing up there on the dashboard, but it's confusing to me. But, so is most of life. 2.5-liter 4-cylinder hybrid motor with 240 net horsepower combined. What? You were going to say something?
Oh,
No.
Jack was agreeing.
Well, yeah. Jack and I kind of are on the same track when it comes to these things. Transmission, CVT, very smooth. It works perfectly for this car. Tow rating, 2,000 pounds if you dare. 41 miles per gallon in the city.
Nice.
37 on the highway for combined to 39. I got 37.9 over 348.1 miles. What I liked about it? Well, let's see. Mileage? Yeah, I don't think anything could use improvement there. They Lexus has this thing that they kind of match up powertrains with the vehicle, and it just works. Ride and handling, superb. Not sure why you would want the F Sport, which is available. It's not a trim level per se, but it is a package that you can get on the different trim levels. An F Sport and an SUV? Why? And a luxury SUV, huh?
It's performance, isn't it?
No, it's a ride handling thing, and it doesn't make sense for this particular car. What could use improvement? Nothing. It's one of the big reasons you buy a Lexus. Pricing, base trim on this $52,340. Prices tested $57,275. The base model price is $45,125. This is about $2,700 more than the gas-only 250 model. So you decide, but I'll tell you what, I would pay the $2,700 extra for the smoothness of this hybrid combination drivetrain. Competitors to the vehicle, well, none of them are hybrids like this. The BMW X3 starts at $49,500. The Acura RDX starts at $46,050. And the Genesis GV70, with which it competes, $45,700. I'd buy this.
It's a nice car.
It is a very nice car. It rides great. It kind of reminds me of the original RX that came out way back when. I bought one, loved it, drove it for years, and it was a beautiful car. The only drawback to that was the turning radius, which was huge, but who cares about that? And they fixed that shortly after everybody complained about it.
Good deal.
Yeah. All right. If you'd like to get in touch with us, shoot us an email. The address is info@inwheeltime.com. We continue right after this quick break.
The holidays are upon us, and Pro-Am Auto Accessories is your local one-stop for the auto enthusiast on your gift list. Pro-Am Auto has been serving Houston since 1984, providing world-class products for sports cars, European sedans, and American muscle. Pro-Am was one of the very first distributors in the U.S. for brands such as Recaro, Redline, Momo, Corbeau, and Simpson. Located in the heart of Houston's premier shopping corridor, the Galleria area, Pro-Am's walk-in storefront includes an 8,000-square-foot warehouse and showroom with installation and service bays. Pro-Am reaches a worldwide audience through ProAmAuto.com, taking its local reputation to the rest of the world. Holiday gift-giving is alive and well at Pro-Am Auto. If you don't see what you're looking for on the website, call and Pro-Am will lend you a hand. Pro-Am Auto, 6125 Richmond at Green Ridge in Houston's Galleria area. Call them at 713-781-7755. The award-winning In Wheel Time Car Talk Show brings you great guest interviews each week from manufacturers and suppliers to the aftermarket, racers, enthusiasts, and other friends just like you and me who love to talk about all things automotive. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show takes it to the road, too, with remotes at popular cruise-ins and shows. In Wheel Time's live video and audio stream can be found on the Odyssey radio app, YouTube, Facebook, and InWheelTime.com every Saturday, 10 to noon Central Time. Or grab a podcast anytime from your favorite podcast provider.
This is the world's favorite place to go for all things automotive. Pardon me, Jack. I know you've got a podcast too, and we love you. It's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. He's up early, waiting for Santa, our go-to expert, author, and guy who gets an audience with the King of England, Jack Nerad, ladies and gentlemen, standing by in the green room. Jeff has the racing calendar. Mars has This Week in Auto History, and I'll get you caught up on the stories making automotive news headlines. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World, Mars. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us today. David Ainsley will be joining us a little bit later on. Well, we're going to join all the way out to Southern California, and Mr. California himself.
Yep.
He's got the tan. He's got the look. He's got the convertible. Ladies and gentlemen.
And the surf's up, dude.
From America on the Road, it's Jack Nerad.
Right.
We love you, man.
Morning.
Hey, what an introduction. Incredible. Really incredible. I do appreciate it.
Well, we love you and think the world of you and your knowledge when it comes to cars. And, we talk to you often. And I quote you many times. Hey, Jack Nerad thinks kind of like I do on this. You know, the buttons here, the buttons there. We don't like those buttons there. We don't know how they work or whatever the case may be. And it's interesting to talk to you because you kind of are right in tune with me. I mean, look. Every car.
I must be a really smart guy, right?
Yeah, well, either that or the other way. I'm not sure, but no, I know.
I think that's true. I think you're a very bright guy, and we agree on most everything.
Well, people ask me all the time. So, what's the favorite car? I really don't have a favorite per se. I mean, let's drill it down. You're looking for a small, a subcompact, an SUV, a truck, whatever it is. Let's talk then. But for the most part, manufacturers do a pretty good job when it comes to the tens of thousands of parts that they assemble and put on the road. And, you compare today's vehicle to, let's say, a 1980s vehicle or a 1990s vehicle.
A Yugo.
Not that. But, you get the point. I mean, every manufacturer, if every car were perfect, we wouldn't have things like NHTSA and recalls and that sort of stuff.
Repair shops.
Yeah, but I don't think there is such a thing as an absolutely perfect car. But there are some that are better than others, and even the good ones make mistakes sometimes. And
I absolutely agree. When I started in this business, there were some truly bad cars.
Yes,
I mean, just stay away from them. Rust buckets almost immediately. Just terrible handling. Totally unreliable. We just don't see that anymore. From any manufacturer, the price of admission is very high quality, and I think that's a good thing, obviously.
Yeah, I do too. And there's a lot of fierce competitors out there in the car industry. And, one guy does one thing, and they go, that's pretty good. We're going to put that into play in our next redesign, which could be 5, and in some cases, 10 years down the road.
Yeah, it's true. I write a lot of comparison tests for JDPower.com. And in doing these tests, it's really fascinating to see how closely aligned competitors are. Because in terms of interior space, in terms of trunk space, in terms of horsepower, in terms of just what they offer, these competitors are just almost on top of each other. Could put the same hat on all of them pretty much. And it just shows exactly what you're talking about, how immensely competitive this industry is and how manufacturers work really hard and look at their competitors every day.
Well, back when cars were being built by just the big three rather than all the imports and everything overseas, they used to say don't buy a car built on Monday or a Friday. And that held true for a long time. And I think by having these businesses and these companies that regulate that kind of thinned the herd on that. So that, and then you got the abundance of all the imports, and then the building overseas. So I think having those organizations kind of calmed it down to where we are today.
Yeah, I mean, they put the level of the playing field is much better today than it was just a few years ago, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, and I think my former boss, Dave Power, who I worked for a couple of years, really changed the industry and did exactly what Jeff's talking about. I mean, it kind of held every manufacturer's foot to the fire and let people see what quality was really like. And it's changed the industry pretty significantly.
Well, speaking of quality, you know, I do the recalls every week, and I look at some of them, and it just major glaring mistakes that have been made. But one of the things that comes to mind is, first of all, who designed the item that's being put onto the car. And I'm not talking about engines and transmissions, that sort of thing, but all of the other stuff that's on there, those are designed and manufactured by suppliers to the automotive industry. What kind of standards that the manufacturer places on the supplier, we don't know. That seems to be a big mystery. And what kind of a penalty do the manufacturers place on the supplier when they have, for instance, the airbag thing? Oh my God. I mean, that was industry wide, and it seems like everybody was doing Takata airbags. And I think that certainly has changed since then, but put Takata out of business. And where does the industry stand today when it comes to first designing the part? Here's the part we want you to design. How much is it going to cost us to build it? Do they always go for the cheapest? Or do they look back and say, you know, they don't have many recalls on the stuff that they make. Let's spend a few more dollars on this particular part. We're going to pass it on to the buyer anyway, and we won't have to mess with it, and gives us a good rating.
Yeah, I think they're getting there. What you find out when you look, under the hood and everything is that so many manufacturers use the same suppliers. So you see very common systems across various vehicles out there. In some ways, that's good, because if it's a reliable system, it's great that it's on multiple vehicles. But at the same time, if you have a situation like the Takata airbags, where they're across many, many brands, but they're kind of disastrously bad, you got a big problem.
Well,
it goes real bad.
The one that's working right now, and has been now for over a year, is the backup cameras on a lot of different manufacturers' cars. And you know darn good and well that that's got to be the same manufacturer.
Yeah, absolutely true. And as you know, testing cars every week, talking about cars, some of those backup cameras and the displays of those backup cameras are a lot better than others. They're higher fidelity. What always amazes me, and I do this every week because I test a car in America on the road every week, is how different the guidelines are. Like, what are those guidelines actually showing me? Is that the edge of my car? Is that where the tires are? Is that kind of thing when you're backing up is kind of good to know, but it's different across various
particularly
brands.
if it's got green lines and yellow lines that are side by side. Which one? I know green's good, but how bad is yellow? It's
the one thing is, speaking of that, and it's a silly little thing, but it also shows you at which angle your front tires are pointed.
Yes,
and helps you get back into a parking spot perfectly if you use it.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times it's easier to back into a parking spot than it is to pull into a parking spot these days.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
You have that guidance for you.
Well,
so,
and
you
the
can't see
trucks.
the front edges of your vehicle.
That's right.
Right.
So what comes to mind, I have to ask you this, the Stellantis thing. And somebody has finally said, hey, Carlos, not so much anymore. I know that you're planned on another year of torture for all of us, but bye-bye. And so what's going to happen to Stellantis now? I know that Elkann, the CEO of Stellantis, is looking for a CEO. First of all, let me ask you this, and this goes really across every corporation in America. Why is it that they pick somebody, pay him $1 bajillion to ruin a major manufacturer like Stellantis? Why?
It's a really good question. I'm not sure that was the goal.
Yeah, really.
Was it one of the higher
I mean, they pick
criteria?
people with track records. I think they might look a little deeper into track records sometimes, because we see some executives go from car company to car company, leaving disaster in their wake every time they go, but they seem to fall up.
Yep.
We've seen that with several executives. So I don't know whether they talk a good ball game or what actually is happening there. But and this is a very, very difficult industry to negotiate. There's no doubt about that. There's the winds blow different ways. I mean, look at the changes we're liable to see in regulations now, where in some ways maybe going slow on EVs, what Toyota has done, and frankly what Stellantis has done, might be a brilliant move. And going forward, it didn't look all that swell maybe 5 years ago, but it's looking like, well, seems like a pretty good idea right now.
Well, taking Jeff's story that I know that you heard about Cadillac maybe going to NASCAR, which is hard to believe, but all I can think of is, why did Stellantis drop the biggest money makers that they had and go this all-in thing with an electric vehicle, that an SUV that is, it's just like all the other SUVs. There really is nothing outstanding about it. Then they're putting a horsepower spin on it in an SUV. No, let's leave that to Porsche. And
we're seeing that from so many SUVs. I mean, at the Los Angeles show, we saw the introduction of a performance version of the EV9, Kia EV9. I mean, you're seeing these performance three-row SUVs. And I asked Steve Center, who is the chief operating officer of Kia America, is there a market for this? What is the market? And I don't know that we know that if there is a market for this. Is there really a market for performance electric vehicles? I was driving Dodge Charger Daytona this past Thursday. I can't talk much about it, but it's kind of a head scratcher. Is the person who buys the current Dodge Charger going to be interested in that vehicle? And they're hoping yes, but I think the jury's still out.
Yeah,
but I think, Jack, some of them are coming to realize, particularly with Stellantis, if you look at what they did with Dodge, the Chargers, the Hellcat, the wide bodies, and all that stuff, the commercials they put out, people talked about the commercials, even if they didn't have the cars. So there is an interest there because they've sold basically every one of them they ever built. And maybe they're trying to figure out, okay, we had to go EV because we were pressured to, but we've lost our performance market. Now let's see if we can kind of pull them along with us here, because if we don't, we got to go back to building V8s.
Well, I think what they're going to have is performance EVs and kind of nothing else. Not very mundane EVs, and I don't know that the typical EV buyer. Of course, when you look going forward, they don't want just the typical EV buyer. They want the typical buyer.
Yeah,
exactly.
And to Mike's point with the commercials, they used to have commercial. Does that thing have a Hemi in it?
Exactly.
Now, does that thing doesn't have a Hemi in it? They should reverse that.
That thing got a battery in it?
It could be. There you go. Good marketing.
I mean, the performance is a mind blower. I can tell you that.
I will tell you this, and I believe me, I love performance, and I love what Tesla has brought to the market, especially with the Plaid. My God, I mean, I don't know of a car that can beat it at a straight line for a quarter of a mile, but why on earth would you venture down the road? I keep thinking Stellantis. Okay, now that they're a global company, it's not Chrysler anymore. What's going to happen to that company? They're bleeding money.
I think that's the problem, and it's the problem here in North America in particular, is their eyes are not on North America. I mean, they have concentrated on other markets. Kind of makes sense. Their headquarters are in another market, right? So they're not looking out the window, although North America is the number 2 market behind China. So you kind of have to pay attention to what's going on here, and they've kind of taken their eye off the ball.
But they used to have people that were focused, like the Jeep or the Ram. They had people, okay, you're in charge of North America. They had somebody designated for that. And they've kind of done away with all that. They may still have them there in name, but as far as somebody that's actually running that market, it just seems like they're just not.
Well, let me just also add to that in the fact that, we have a new president that's going to take office here in January, and he seems like a no-nonsense kind of guy. And when it comes to China, we're what's that going to be like? Let's face it, the automobile industry is kind of like it is here. They're closing shops in China because they can't build enough, sell enough cars.
Volkswagen just closed up in China. Volkswagen is moving out of China.
So there are those kinds of things that are in the tide, so to speak. And I'm not looking really positively about the American automobile industry.
Well, the auto industry as a whole, the biggest problem for the auto industry, and it has been for the last 20 years, maybe longer than that, is overproduction, the ability to build a lot more cars than there are people who can buy them. So when you combine that with lack of affordability, I mean, try and find a vehicle you want that costs, less than $25,000 or maybe even less than $30,000 in America. I mean, that's that kind of a problem. You got to sell a ton of cars. We've kind of been flatlining in terms of sales for the last couple of years. I mean, since COVID. And at the same time, there's all kinds of really interesting, cool cars being introduced. You would think that would promote higher sales rather than just kind of flatlining. But, that's what we've seen. And I think there's a lot of issues with the industry. At the same time, this is a golden time for the consumer because there's so many incentives out there. There's so many desperate manufacturers.
What was the attendance like at the LA Auto Show? Have to ask you.
I think it was pretty strong. I think one of the things that hurts the auto shows now is the fact that most of the luxury brands just don't exhibit at auto shows anymore. And I don't know about you, but when I, as a kid going to the auto shows, or as a middle-aged man going to the auto shows back 20 years ago, seeing all the vehicles you could buy from the least expensive to the most expensive, from luxury cars, and sit in them, play with them, fantasize about them. That's the beauty of an auto show.
Exactly.
And we're kind of losing that when you don't have the most desirable cars or the luxury cars as part of the mix.
Who's made that decision? Is it the marketing department of the manufacturer?
Yeah, I think the marketing department is thinking, well, we don't need to have all the, populace, many of which will never buy a luxury car, soiling the seats of our luxury vehicles. What that neglects is the fact that this is where people fall in love with luxury vehicles.
The car I'm going to buy when I graduate, kind of guy.
Growing up in Detroit, going to Cobo Hall, the main thing as a kid, you have all the catalogs you're bringing home, all of the pictures, all of the ads. That was the best. I
mean, probably all of us fell in love with cars among the first times at auto shows. I grew up in Chicago. I went to the Chicago Auto Show every year with my family, and I vividly remember auto shows from way, way back. Let's put it that way. And they made an impression on me.
Jack, we're just about out of time. What are you going to review this week on America on the Road?
I am reviewing this week the Mazda 3 on America on the Road. We have a double hit of Mazda. The Mazda Miata and the Mazda 3 are our review cars this time around.
America on the Road, where can we find it?
You can find it on any podcast outlet. We're also on the Sports Byline Network, radio network. So we're on, something like 200 stations, I think, around the country.
Well, we wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Yeah, we love you, and be safe out there in L.A.
I got one last question. When is the movie coming out for your latest book?
I wish I knew. I'd love to have that happen. Actually, I'm going to have another crime novel is going to come out probably right after the first of the year in January or February. It is called Only One Thing Stays the Same. One thing, if you got a second, too, is the book behind me, the GR Factor, a management book that I wrote, I'm giving away for all of December. So all you have to do is write to editor@drivingtoday.com, editor@drivingtoday.com. Request the book, and we'll get a copy to you.
Nice.
Awesome.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you.
Well,
it's always great to talk to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Love to talk to you. Merry Christmas to all.
Merry Christmas, Jack.
Thank you, Jack. Talk to you again. Hey, the holidays are here, and we hope you'll think of our show sponsors this season. including the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex restaurants, Pro-Am Auto, and Gulf Coast Auto Shield. We'll be back right after a quick break.
The Tex-Mex dining experience is defined by Lupi Tortilla, your destination for Texas's best beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. Since 1983, Lupi Tortilla has served authentic and time-tested recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Atmosphere is part of the award-winning experience at Lupi Tortilla, all developed in a little house near Highway 6 and I-10 in West Houston. Visit any of the Lupi Tortillas and you'll see the same attention to detail in each and every location. Start your Lupi experience with queso flameado and guacamole, along with a classic frozen margarita. Dine on famous Lupi beef and chicken fajitas, or pepper shrimp brochette, or a fish or vegetarian entree, and finish with a scrumptious flan for dessert. Find Lupi Tortilla in Houston, College Station, Beaumont, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas-Fort Worth. There's a Texas location near you. The recipes are authentic and time-tested. The ingredients always fresh. Lupi Tortilla, he's pretty good. Your car is a direct reflection of you, so don't be satisfied with color fade or a dingy, dull appearance. Get rid of those terrible automated car wash scratches. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your Save the Paint company. John Gray and his team of detailing experts can help your cars finish without a full repaint. Searching for the real experts in window tint or windshield protection? Gulf Coast Auto Shield. Dash cams, radar detectors? Gulf Coast Auto Shield. Got a new car? Get that thing protected as soon as you take delivery. If you don't know which of the multitude of protection products to go with, John Gray will give you an honest opinion and won't sell you something you don't need or can't afford. John will help you understand the many options and pricing right on the spot. He's your guy to have your ride looking its best and protected too. See the state-of-the-art shop yourself. Free tours anytime. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is easy to get to, located just south of the Southwest Freeway on the Sam Houston Parkway. Gulf Coast Auto Shield, full-service luxury car care today, and online at gcautoshield.com.
It's the N-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Thanks for joining us today. This is our live show on Saturday mornings between 10 and noon Central Time, and we hope you'll join us every Saturday. And if you can't, plenty of podcasts out there and reruns and whatever have you.
Yep.
Let's do the racing calendar, Jeffrey.
Well, we've got one wrapping up for Formula One. My favorite, it's going to be Etihad Airways in Abu Dhabi. It's the Grand Prix. You've got practices going on, and then, of course, the race tomorrow on Sunday. And that'll finalize Formula One. They've already got champions announcing and all that good stuff, and I say good for them. Don just handed this to me, and he wants me to go ahead and do some e-racing in the future.
The cars look really cool.
I know. Well, they look like Formula One cars and Indy cars. So we'll be talking about e-racing next week, and
Formula
also
E, yeah.
Snowball Derby. The winter race was last week, and I guess there was some controversy with accidents and crashes, and I'm going to hit you with my purse. Oh no, you're not, and all this other stuff. So, we're going to get into that as well. So look forward to tune in, subscribe.
Jeff's racing calendar is brought to you by the Texas Muscle Car Club Challenge, and we're going to have the head of that coming up in the next hour. So we invite you to stay tuned. Auto history, Mr. Mars.
Yes, sir. Found a few things that are interesting this time of year. December the 1st, 1928, the Duesenberg Model J debuted. On this date, Duesenberg unveiled the Model J at the New York Auto Show. Now, this car was designed to compete directly with the likes of Rolls-Royce, and the Model J was unlike anything to hit the road at that time. Before the show, they only had time to get one built, and they had it in there, and of course, the serial number was J101. Finished in silver and black, got a lot of people paying attention to it. Part of that was because it cost $8,500 back in 1928. Oh. Now, that was for the chassis alone, mind you, and the sum in 1928 equals around $175,000 in 2022 dollars for the chassis. Now, this car wore a dual cowl, and underneath that cowl was a 7-liter, 420 cubic inch Duesenberg-designed straight-8 engine.
Wow.
They advertised it at 265 horsepower, which is big at that time. It's pretty big right now. Now, it powered the car to a top speed of 91 miles an hour, and it was the most expensive production and the fastest production car of its time. Then on December the 3rd, 1979, was the last AMC Pacer.
Oh.
This car came out in February of 1975, and AMC thought they had an instant hit because they sold 145,000 in the first year of production. It was advertised as the first wide, small car because it had 37% glass built into the body of it. So it's like a big fishbowl, and a lot of people called it exactly that. But like a lot of the 70s, the sales ran out of gas. There was a general lack of power. People just didn't like the fuel economy, and they
What a freak.
couldn't compete with all the imports. So,
God, that car was ugly.
yeah.
It's got a sunroof.
By 1979, that car was selling about 35,000 a year, and by the time they actually ended production in 1979, 280,000 were actually made. Just a little side note, a place called the Electric Vehicle Association of Cleveland offered a change of pace of model. They took the Pacers and they converted them to EVs in 1978.
Wow.
There's a big hit.
Yeah, they sold 100 of
Those
them.
taillights look familiar. They've been put those taillights on something else.
December the 1st, 1913, Ford's moving assembly line begins operation. Now, this is really important. We've talked about this a lot of times, but it was the change that he made to actually make the assembly line move so that the workers didn't have to change stations. The car came to them. Mm-hmm. And what it did, it reduced the production time from 12 hours to build a car to just 93 minutes. By moving it and keeping the people in the same place, made them much more efficient, reduced the cost, improved affordability, and that was one of the reasons so many people could afford to buy one. And, of course, it increased wages, and this bled across the entire industry, a lot of different levels. December the 3rd, this is for you, Don, 1965, Ralph Nader's Unsafe at Any Speed is published.
Actually, that first gen Corvair, no.
Yeah.
I had the second gen, thank you.
So this book was published in 1965, exposing the automobile industry's failure to prioritize consumer safety. He was saying that because it focused on style and profit over safety, particularly the Chevrolet Corvair. In fact, the Corvair was chapter 1 of the book, and the name of the chapter is The Sporty Corvair, the One-Car Accident. He argued that manufacturers deliberately ignored risk and creating these poor vehicle designs and made a lot of changes in the industry, led to congressional hearings, creation of the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, and a lot of the safety standards, crash standards, and things that we have today are attributed back to that initial book by Ralph Nader.
Thank you, Ralph.
Well, I mean, he had a point, but
Well, he did, but it was
the swing axle on the Corvair killed it, and
A lot of people, too.
a lot of people. But that wasn't the first car ever made with a swing axle. As a matter of fact, I believe a Porsche started that.
I was about to say Porsche was the one that created that.
Yeah. As far as stories this morning on our news headlines, and this is kind of dear to my heart for some reason, I'm not really sure. Department of Energy is racing against the clock to finalize a $335 million grant to help Stellantis overhaul its auto plant in Belvidere, Illinois. The project, expected to cost about $5 billion, but result in 4,000 jobs, has been in limbo since it was announced a year ago as part of a new contract with the United Auto Workers. The Department of Energy announced the Belvidere grant in July, but the agreement hasn't been finalized. The department is negotiating with Stellantis to wrap up the agreement by the end of the year, according to sources briefed on the matter. Once the agreement is finalized and funds are deemed obligated, it makes the money much harder to resend. Because of federal budgeting rules, if the funds were canceled after being obligated, they wouldn't count towards savings for future budgets. Come on.
Can I ask a question?
Okay.
They're getting a grant from the government to do this?
I'm sure because the government has offered it. Because it creates more jobs.
We are paying for them to...
if you knew what we pay for, you would move to another world. Not even the country. You'd move to another world. We pay for everything. So why not give them a measly $335 million? Hey, they're going to redo the Astrodome for a budget of $1 billion. Are you kidding me? $1 billion? No.
You know what we could
I
do?
love the Astrodome. I want to save it, but not for $1 billion. That's nuts.
I don't know what are you going to do with it, even for $1 billion.
I don't know, because it's going to cost millions to tear it down.
Oh, they're going to tear it down? They're not going to refurbish it?
That's the refurbishment is the $1 billion.
It's full of asbestos.
It's nuts. Okay,
Man.
we're done.
right,
We'd love
sorry.
to hear from you. Shoot us an email. The address here is info@inwheeltime.com. We're back after this.
The holidays are upon us, and Pro-Am Auto Accessories is your local one-stop for the auto enthusiast on your gift list. Pro-Am Auto has been serving Houston since 1984, providing world-class products for sports cars, European sedans, and American muscle. Pro-Am was one of the very first distributors in the U.S. for brands such as Recaro, Redline, Momo, Corbeau, and Simpson. Located in the heart of Houston's premier shopping corridor, the Galleria area, Pro-Am's walk-in storefront includes an 8,000-square-foot warehouse and showroom with installation and service bays. Pro-Am reaches a worldwide audience through ProAmAuto.com, taking its local reputation to the rest of the world. Holiday gift giving is alive and well at Pro-Am Auto. If you don't see what you're looking for on the website, call and Pro-Am will lend you a hand. Pro-Am Auto, 6125 Richmond at Green Ridge in Houston's Galleria area. Call them at 713-781-7755. The award-winning In Wheel Time Car Talk Show brings you great guest interviews each week from manufacturers and suppliers to the aftermarket, racers, enthusiasts, and other friends just like you and me who love to talk about all things automotive. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show takes it to the road, too, with remotes at popular cruise-ins and shows. In Wheel Time's live video and audio stream can be found on the Odyssey Radio app, YouTube, Facebook, and InWheelTime.com every Saturday, 10 to noon Central Time. Or grab a podcast anytime from your favorite podcast provider.
It's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show coming up. You hear us talk about the Texas Muscle Car Club Challenge.
We do.
So we talked to Sarah Vadrine to explain how it works and the final results from the 2024 season. Jeff has little-known facts on the Pontiac Grand Prix.
Oh, yeah.
And Mr. Mars reviews the new Subaru Outback. Just ahead on this segment of the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. David Ainsley will be joining us hopefully at the bottom of the hour. We'll see.
Oh, so he's out of county. He got out of the county? No, just messing around.
Out of the county?
County jail.
County jail.
You got to keep up. This is Jeff. He moves pretty quick.
I know, and it sometimes I can't keep up. I try.
Inmate of the week.
Yeah. All right. Let's move it along, shall we? The Texas Muscle Car Club Challenge. Sarah Vadrine kind of keeps the books and keeps everybody aligned, and she's joining us now via YouTube. Sarah, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good, man. It's great to see you again, and we hope to figure out for our people that are just now joining us for the first time, what is the Texas Muscle Car Club Challenge?
So we are a club versus club bracket racing organization. I've actually brought my vice president with me this time. This is Scott.
Scott,
I know
good
you
to
guys
see you.
probably got tired of talking to just me, so I finally brought you somebody else.
Okay, good. Well, does he know what you know?
I hope so.
He doesn't know anything. He's been beat down just like the rest of us men.
Yeah.
But so explain, either one of you. You decide who wants to explain.
Sorry, guys, we don't have a really bad connection.
Explain what the Texas Muscle Car Club Challenge is.
You know what? I think I'm going to have to call in on you guys. I'm having trouble hearing you.
Okay, well, yeah, you call us back, okay? All right.
Now I got you. There you are.
Oh,
Okay.
can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
There we go.
All right, good.
I should have brought my Zoom card bingo.
Yes, you should have. That. So this is a drag racing event. You guys drag race a quarter mile or eighth mile?
We actually do both. Mainly eighth mile, but we do have a couple quarter mile tracks here and there.
Okay. And Mr. Mars, I'm going to ask that both of you guys, because Mr. Mars is the receiver on this, that we reestablish contact with you because the audio's in and out, okay? So stand by. Mars is going to get back in touch with you here in just a second. Good.
Talk amongst yourselves at home.
Yeah. In the meantime and in between time, while he's doing that, I had a story I wanted to share with you. Oh, by the way, in case you're wondering why we're not at the Car Social down at Gulf Coast Auto Shield today, we postponed it because of the weather. Mm-hmm. People don't like to drive the car in the rain. And so it's been postponed until Saturday, January 11th. same time. The actual Car Social will be 9 to noon. We will be there and on the air from 10 to noon. That's January the 11th. So write that down. Come see us and come see us and save.
Come see us and save. There you go. I don't like the cold weather. You can have it.
No, I know. I'm not a big fan, but it's better than the 110-degree heat that we went through this summer. Edmund says it usually keeps new vehicles for at least a year and 20,000 miles, but it made an exception for the Fisker Ocean, a vehicle that one staffer said, quote, made me so frustrated I was about ready to drive it into the ocean.
Oh.
End quote. So 11 months after buying the crossover for $69,012, the site traded it in with just 7,000 miles on the odometer for a measly $13,500, an 80% loss. One factor in the decision to sell was Fisker's June bankruptcy filing, which has made it tougher for owners to get service for the frequent problems that arise. Quote, it's time to jump ship, according to editors Brian Wong and Stephen Ewing. But they both wrote that on November 29th. Bye-bye. Fisker Ocean.
Wow.
I saw one.
Many, many years ago, I saw one. Many years ago.
An Ocean?
Yeah. Fisker, yeah.
Yeah. It clearly
well,
did.
the Fisker, I don't know if it was an Ocean or not, but it was the Fisker.
Yeah. Well, I think I saw one over at John's place. It might have been something different.
Yeah,
but
you know what? You're right.
I think
so.
he had one over there.
Yep.
And I'm sorry for the person that actually bought it because
maybe they're going to camo it so nobody notice
what it is and then try to pawn it off
for $11,000
for an AMC Pacer.
Oh, I'd drive that Pacer. I would.
Well, today you would, but back in the day, Anita Martini had one of those. Do you remember her?
Yeah.
She was a sportscaster here in town. Actually was the first female allowed in a locker room, and she had to fight to get that fixed.
Yeah.
So anyway, she's been gone for quite a number of years, but I quote her many times. All right. That's my Anita Martini impression.
And you do that well.
All right. So anyway, I told you about the Car Social postponed. What do you think, Mr. Morris?
I think we got him.
I think we got, well.
We got him. Well, got
shoot,
some audio
I
going
hit the
on.
wrong button.
Oh, gee whiz.
Now, try that one.
Okay. Sarah, you with us?
Oh,
No. Oh, wait. She's muted. You muted. We got you muted on your end.
Muted on your end. Well, this has turned into a kind of a fiasco.
There we go.
Oh,
There you go.
you're back.
All right.
All right, I'm using my cell phone, so I apologize
Oh,
for poor quality
very
on the
good.
camera.
Well, that's it. That's the problem. So go back in the house. Oh, no, never mind.
Oh, she's going to her board meeting.
So who won the? First of all, how many classes or divisions, however you bust it up, how many classes of cars do you have that race in the Texas Muscle Car Club Challenge?
So we've got actually 8 classes now, from all the way from grocery gritter, daily driver to full-blown electronic fast race cars.
Nice.
We've got club series kind of broken up as to how many cars they bring per race. So we have a kind of like how high school football, your 5As, 4As, 3As. And this year, our overall championship for points, we actually had a tie. So Chuck Coates and Chad Boren have won the overall for the year. And there are 2 completely different classes and completely different cars. We've got Chuck and he runs Pro Muscle, which is the one step below the fastest race cars. And then Chad Boren, who's racing our slowest class, our stock muscle, in a Chevy Volt.
Nice.
A Chevy Volt. Okay.
Chevy Volt.
So you didn't have any AMC Pacers out there?
I don't think we do.
No.
I don't think we've got any AMCs.
Dang. We need to have.
Should be its own
Mars,
class.
it's the new in-wheel time fast car on the drag strip. AMC Pacer. Let's go out and buy one. And we'll take it on the Texas Muscle Car Club Challenge. And
I will gladly have you on our team. Come on.
Well, make sure it's got a rear window defogger so that when you're pushing it, you can keep your hands warm.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
I like it. Yeah. So How many races do you have a year?
Normally, we try to get in at least 10. This year, the rain got us, and we only got 9.
Uh-oh.
Next season, Mr. Scott over here is trying to get us 12.
12.
I like the number 12. That's an easy dozen. And, you know, if you really wanted to do a baker's dozen, 13 would be that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, 12 to 13 will work for me.
okay.
That way, if we have a rain out, we don't have to deal with rescheduling during summertime when people are trying to go on vacation and stuff like that.
Well, the 13th would be the rain out redo.
Yeah.
So who obviously, how do you organize to get another race event, and then how do you get other clubs to join?
Basically, it works like this. We'll give them a call, let them know what dates we are looking for. Like, for instance, our organization likes to run between March 1st and June 30th for the spring, and between September 1st and the end of October for the fall. We don't like to run in the summertime. It's just too hot.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know, tracks get greasy, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
You can just go on from there. So we'll give them those dates in between those times and see what we can come up with. We typically like to run on Sundays, but we will run on Saturday evenings if it's a long drive. For instance, let's say we're going out to San Angelo. For me, that's a 4-hour drive. So it's better for most people to schedule those kinds of races on a Saturday evening, race until midnight or so, and then, you know, we can go home the next day and get home in a reasonable hour for those people that have to go to work.
So how do you get other clubs to join?
Are these drag racing clubs?
Yes.
That is so weird to me because, this is the first time, and I know, make fun of me if you will, first time that I've ever heard of drag racing clubs.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, obviously you guys have been doing this for a while, so it's not something brand new.
Yeah, because
right. The organization has been around for 40 years. So it's, like you said, it's not brand new. A lot of clubs will do both. They'll do racing and they'll do shows. And what we're trying to do is bring in other people, other clubs. Even if we go, let's say we go to Abilene and we race there. Excuse me. There are clubs that are there that specifically only race at that track, which is fine. You know, they won't obviously win a club championship if they're only going to attend one event.
Yeah, it's just bragging rights.
Well, yeah, exactly. Bragging rights is exactly it. And racing. I mean, I don't care if you're lining up against Jesus Christ. You're there to win, period.
What would he be driving?
But I don't know.
A Cadillac.
A holy roller.
He's laughing in heaven right now going, that's a good one there. I got that.
I got that.
That's
like
funny.
it.
I don't care who you are.
I don't care who you are.
He's going to come down and run you over his pacer.
That's
Years
right.
ago, I lined up in the Big Dog race, which is our finale. It's all the winners against all the winners from the year. I race in pro. I lined up the luck of the draw against my wife, who was running stock.
No, it was meant to be. You just got to go with that. There's no luck to it.
So you got beat by a girl.
But it's
Crap out of you too?
no, I beat her. But it's
First.
it's one of those things where everybody said, "Well, I guess you're gonna let her win," and I said, "Hell no! You line up on that line. I don't care who you are. You're gonna lose. Period." So
It's a brave man.
He is a brave man.
So how long-
He's the kind of guy you want to party with.
How long have you been divorced?
good one.
And I will say this. So you got this group of people that go to the drag strip every Saturday night that live local there in Abilene or wherever it is. And then you've got the Texas Muscle Car Club Challenge bunch that come in and race with you. You got it made. That's the best of both
It's
worlds.
like Hollywood coming in.
Yeah.
Exactly. One of the things we try to do is when we schedule for a Sunday, we'll try to piggyback on the racers that are there for Saturday evening, and some of them stay and actually join us the next day. So you're right. We are living the best of both worlds in a lot of sense. What we're trying to do and what I'm going to try to do going forward as president next year is bring in some of these younger people that are racing other cars. other types
JDM
of
stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
even EVs, if it comes down to it, because that's what kids are racing these days.
Racing's
maybe not
racing.
something I would. Well, I mean, it's maybe not something I would do,
Right.
but they're doing it. More power to them. Have fun. Come join us. Kind of.
Yeah.
Do you guys come to Houston?
We can.
We can. Well, I mean,
one of those things-
it's an eighth mile track up at Houston Motorsports Park. That's the only one that's left around here, I think, these days. I mean, there are some other tracks, but you would know more than I would. But I know that they have a large contingency of JDM vehicles. And matter of fact, a guy that I just recently befriended, he is into the whole JDM thing. And let me tell you something, 1,500 horsepower out of a four-banger is nothing to laugh about.
Right.
And they are very serious about what they do. He's young. He's in his 20s. And that's, matter of fact, one of the guys that he works for, that's what they do. They hop up four-cylinder engines, JDM stuff, and they put them out there. And, man, I'm telling you, I've seen the race on video. I'm going, wow, that's some serious stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I remember back in the day, when a friend and I were talking about it a couple of weeks ago, we were happy to get 250 horsepower out of our 289.
Yes.
Now I'm driving a 2024 Jeep Wagoneer with a 3-liter 6-cylinder twin turbo that's putting out 550 horsepower out of the box.
Yeah. From the factory. You didn't have to do anything.
Right. I didn't have to do anything. Yet on my race car, I'm spending tens of thousands of dollars to put out 700 horsepower. I mean, it's just crazy.
Well, it sounds like a ton of fun. It's funny you should mention the club thing, and you said, we've got clubs that do this, but it's part of the overall club experience. And back in the day, now this is way back when, I was a member of the San Jacinto Corvette Club. Well, within the club, they had the drag racers and they had the show car people. Okay, we were the show car people, and the other club members, some of them, were into the drag racing. And let me tell you something, they talk about spending some major change. Whoo-wee, they did. All suspension changes and all of this stuff to go drag racing. And we went our own separate way with the show car thing. But come to think of it, now that you've mentioned it, I would imagine that there are a lot of clubs like that.
There are. The club that we have, Sarah and I are part of, our RMC. Back in the day when we first started, we were half show and half race. I left that club when it was both to form another club, the club we have now. But back, like I said, back in the day, and this is 12, 15 years ago, it was both. The club I have now, our RMC, is strictly race. That's all we do. And by the way, we won the overall championship in TMCCC for 2024.
No thanks to me.
Congratulations.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, a lot of clubs do both, and it's a lot of fun doing both. But like I've told my wife, I will race until they put me in the ground.
Well, I'll say this, that if you've got the show car side and you got the race side, man, that is trying to herd cats. You've got, I mean, that is a lot of work, because basically you have two events in one. One of them's on the racetrack and the other one's in the parking lot doing their show thing. Yep. Tons of fun, and you're all buddied up together and having good times and all. But here are the race car guys. They make a run and they go out there, tune this and tune that and change the pressure here and do this and do that, while we were sitting back drinking beers underneath the tent.
Right. Well, the car guys, the car show guys are worried about Junior with his sticky fingerprints, while the race car guys could care less about that and are more about, making sure the car's ready for the next run. Yeah. So you're absolutely right. It's like herding cats.
Well, but it's still a ton of fun, and you got your friends that you cheer for on the racetrack, and they come and cheer for you and make sure that you're making a good show out there in the parking lot. Well, listen, it's great to talk to you guys. We really appreciate buddying up with you, and hopefully we're going to continue this in 2025.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, we look forward to seeing you. As soon as you get the schedule set for next year, you be sure and send it to us, and we'll get it on the air.
I'm sorry, repeat that again?
Yeah. As soon as you get the schedule in place for next year, send it to us, and we'll get it on the air.
Absolutely. I'm working on it now. I've got 5 set for sure. I'm hoping to get 7 more.
Both of you all, thank you very much. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Be safe out there.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hey, the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 on the In-Wheel Time and Odyssey radio apps. Just search for In-Wheel Time Car Talk, and podcasts are available from your favorite podcast provider. We also video stream our weekly show on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com, 10 to noon every Saturday Central Time. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break.
The Tex-Mex dining experience is defined by Lupi Tortilla, your destination for Texas's best beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. Since 1983, Lupi Tortilla has served authentic and time-tested recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Atmosphere is part of the award-winning experience at Lupi Tortilla, all developed in a little house near Highway 6 and I-10 in West Houston. Visit any of the Lupi Tortillas and you'll see the same attention to detail in each and every location. Start your Lupi experience with queso flameado and guacamole, along with a classic frozen margarita. Dine on famous Lupi beef and chicken fajitas, or pepper shrimp brochette, or a fish or vegetarian entree, and finish with a scrumptious flan for dessert. Find Lupi Tortilla in Houston, College Station, Beaumont, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas-Fort Worth. There's a Texas location near you. The recipes are authentic and time-tested. The ingredients always fresh. Lupi Tortilla, he's pretty good. Your car is a direct reflection of you, so don't be satisfied with color fade or a dingy, dull appearance. Get rid of those terrible automated car wash scratches. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your Save the Paint company. John Gray and his team of detailing experts can help your cars finish without a full repaint. Searching for the real experts in window tint or windshield protection? Gulf Coast Auto Shield. Dash cams, radar detectors? Gulf Coast Auto Shield. Got a new car? Get that thing protected as soon as you take delivery. If you don't know which of the multitude of protection products to go with, John Gray will give you an honest opinion and won't sell you something you don't need or can't afford. John will help you understand the many options and pricing right on the spot. He's your guy to have your ride looking its best and protected too. See the state-of-the-art shop yourself. Free tours anytime. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is easy to get to, located just south of the Southwest Freeway on the Sam Houston Parkway. Gulf Coast Auto Shield, full-service luxury car care today, and online at gcautoshield.com.
I'm sorry, I was...
He was telling Mike how much he loved him and that he wishes him well and all that good stuff.
So this is the show that Mike prepares for me so I know what's coming up, right? Well, it's got these big spaces in between all this stuff, and it wastes all my paper. And he just explained to me that it's probably one of my settings. Well, of course it's my fault. I've lived with that all of my married life.
This is the only place I can say it's somebody else's fault.
Exactly.
So I'm an only child, and my parents here have abandoned me.
So it's time now to move on. And Jeff has a feature on facts you may not know about the Pontiac Grand Prix.
That's right. 4 facts. The auto industry's longest-running nameplates like CJ7, CJ5 likely come to mind. But the Chevy Suburban has had 12 generations of a run. The Pontiac Grand Prix badge has been around for 47 years. Its introduction in 1962. The Grand Prix's name was borrowed from the French term that's commonly used in the international races on Formula One circuit as the Big Prize.
That is a beautiful car that I would love to have.
It was originally called the Ventura in 1962. It was a big year for Pontiac. They sold over 500,000 vehicles, 521,000 vehicles that year. Best second ever to 1955. The 75 millionth Pontiac rolled off the line in the spring, and it was a Bonneville convertible. The Le Mans, which evolved from the GTO in 64, made its first appearance as the Grand Prix. So moving on, there were 8 generations of the Grand Prix. The 1964 model year marked the end of the model's first generation. The original engine choices carried over to the second generation. In 1969, the Grand Prix moved from a mid-sized G-body platform. It shared with Chevy Monte Carlo, Malibu, Buick Regal, of course, Century, and the Oldsmobile Cutlass. In 1997 through 2004, the supercharged 3.8-liter V8 could produce 260 horsepower. Wow. And a 5.3-liter V8 generated 303 horsepower at 323 foot-pounds of torque. So moving on to that. The next
one's
fact
ugly.
that you didn't know was the Grand Prix convertible was only made in 1967. I like that car.
I do too. I
the
like that
uniqueness.
one.
The Grand Prix was available as a coupe from his birth in 2002. The anomaly was in 67. The only time a convertible version of the Grand Prix was produced, despite its gorgeous sweeping lines and vast open-air cruising deck. The Grand Prix convertible was not common. It was not a hot commodity. People didn't like it, like just Don said. They produced 5,800 of these convertibles. You may think it a rarity based on the original price of $3,800 for that car back then.
That's a lot.
Today, it's about $36,000. You really can't find any more because nobody wants them, and they're kind of just going away. The last one that actually got some money was the Hearst edition. It was a 455 cubic inch for $100,000, but that was a classic. It was all redone and refurbished and looked pretty. The last one we have a fact that NASCAR had the Pontiac. It was a repeat NASCAR champion. The Grand Prix was popular as a mass market vehicle, but it also had success on the racetrack. NASCAR champions who had driven the Grand Prix stock cars included Dale Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace, Bobby Labonte, Tony Stewart, and Richard Petty. So during that time, the championship years, Earnhardt's Grand Prix ride came in '81, and he is the and he was 29 and defending the series champion when he drove that car back then. So there you go. Just 4 facts about it. And like the Pontiac,
I will tell you, I have an idea for General Motors. And that was, the fact that if they're going to do NASCAR without a brand, the Chevy Camaro anymore, pick up the Pontiac. Just put Pontiac on the back of it. They don't make it. Well, they don't make this car that they're going to race, so just put Pontiac. Put Grand Prix on it.
Just get another car. We got a few in mind.
There's a few Chevrolets out there. I mean, there's some.
Yep.
Well, they don't make the Malibu anymore.
No.
What Chevy would that be? They don't make the Camaro.
What's wrong with the Corvette?
They're going to put a Corvette on NASCAR?
Why not?
You'd have to restyle it, make it.
It's fiberglass.
No, it's not.
The size,
it's plastic.
weight, and all that.
Plastic, fiberglass, same thing.
I think there's some other engineering specs on that. I saw a show called Trans Am. It's been out for a while. You're watching a rerun.
You can't say that on the radio.
What, Trans Am? Oh, okay. Well, it was about a car that they did some work to.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's been on for years ago. But they remodeled the new Firebirds to look modern, like a Camaro. Have you ever seen those?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they had a customer come in with a Oldsmobile Vista Cruiser. So just fix it up. Don't make anything fancy about it. Frame off restoration. They went overboard. The guy wanted to keep his engine complete as a 455. They dropped an LS whatever number in there, built it up, supercharged it, put like $130,000 in it, and the guy says, "I don't want it. That's not what I wanted." So they ended up buying the car back from the guy. They lost money. It was on TV. They showed it.
Wow.
Really?
You know what? I'm going to make it look good for my customer, and I'm going to do this and this. They never honored what the guy wanted to do to the car.
Yeah.
So they ate it.
They ate it.
They're
Wow.
trying to
Very end,
outthink
they
and
ate
think, I know better than my customer.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to do your car review on the other side of the hour,
Okay.
bottom of the hour.
Did I take too long? Did I go long?
No. We were late.
We got plenty of time coming
All
up.
right. We got time. Oh, you know what? We got time, and I'm hungry. I'm getting hungry.
It's
Right.
on my side.
Speaking of which, and I don't know who's going to show up here, but we're having a big
Generally,
lunch.
the police after the show.
Yeah, well, there's that. They're waiting outside for us. But, George Skelton has been a friend of mine since grade school. And George has been a friend of the show for a long time now. And for the past few Christmases, he always sends us a really nice beef brisket kind of tenderloin is what it is from Perini Ranch. And it's so nice of him. We always wind up. What?
No, he was just.
I was.
Go ahead.
He's not paying attention.
Yes, I am. We're talking about how good George has been to us.
Yeah. And so all I can say is thank you, George. George and his wife, Twyla, have sent this to us, and today's the day we're going to have the George
Today's the
Skelton
day.
lunch. George has not been feeling well lately, and his wife has undergone surgery, and our thoughts and prayers are with them. And I understand that George is still recovering and doing well, from what I understand, from what I read. I haven't talked to him in a while, but maybe perhaps next weekend we can put him on the show and have a chat with him. Tell him how much we enjoy the Perini Ranch tenderloins. They're in there. They came via FedEx with a big ice pack in them. And they were frozen, and been unthawing them here for the past 2 days. So we're going to have us a big to-do right after the show is over with today. Yeah, and we'll post some pics and stuff like that on Facebook.
Yep, getting hungry.
Yeah, me too.
I hadn't eaten since yesterday, so.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Something tells me you had some chips and salsa last night along with those margaritas.
I did.
Hey, today's In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is sponsored by Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex, Gulf Coast Auto Shield, and Pro-Am Auto Accessories. We'll continue the show right after this quick break.
The holidays are upon us, and Pro-Am Auto Accessories is your local one-stop for the auto enthusiast on your gift list. Pro-Am Auto has been serving Houston since 1984, providing world-class products for sports cars, European sedans, and American muscle. Pro-Am was one of the very first distributors in the U.S. for brands such as Recaro, Redline, Momo, Corbo, and Simpson. Located in the heart of Houston's premier shopping corridor, the Galleria area, Pro-Am's walk-in storefront includes an 8,000-square-foot warehouse and showroom with installation and service bays. Pro-Am reaches a worldwide audience through ProAmAuto.com, taking its local reputation to the rest of the world. Holiday gift giving is alive and well at Pro-Am Auto. If you don't see what you're looking for on the website, call and Pro-Am will lend you a hand. Pro-Am Auto, 6125 Richmond at Green Ridge in Houston's Galleria area. Call them at 713-781-7755. The award-winning In Wheel Time Car Talk Show brings you great guest interviews each week from manufacturers and suppliers to the aftermarket, racers, enthusiasts, and other friends just like you and me who love to talk about all things automotive. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show takes it to the road, too, with remotes at popular cruise-ins and shows. In Wheel Time's live video and audio stream can be found on the Odyssey Radio app, YouTube, Facebook, and InWheelTime.com every Saturday, 10 to noon Central Time. Or grab a podcast anytime from your favorite podcast provider.
From the Sugar Shack Studios in Houston, Texas, USA, it's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, it's car recalls and the Hemmings Sold Car Game Show.
All right.
Jeff has the cruise in and events calendars, and Mr. Mars is going to do his car review right out at the top of the box here. So hope you'll stay tuned for that. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Thanks so much for joining us on this cold and rainy Saturday here. And if you're looking for us at Gulf Coast Auto Shield's Car Social, we ain't there. Because it was postponed till January the 11th because of the bad weather that was moving in. Yesterday afternoon was just fine and going, well, no big deal.
No,
today.
Yesterday was too windy for me. Still a little chilly.
You need a back rub or something.
We started getting a little drizzle late yesterday afternoon.
Drizzly?
Yeah. We didn't get any hard rain until this morning on the way over here, but it came in a little bit earlier.
Mars lives real close to the Louisiana border, which is a long way from here, isn't it?
Depends on how you drive.
When we know how you drive,
so it's not quite so far.
How many tickets have you gotten lately?
Lately, define your terms. What is lately?
Lately, in the past 3 years, how many tickets?
Zero.
Really?
Yes.
You talked your way out of them, or what?
Well, I've been very lucky, and I have a wife that's insistent that I stop doing some of the things I do, and she helps me.
Like the on-ramp acceleration tests.
That I do when she's not with me because I can't. She doesn't take good notes.
Yeah, especially when you're leaning up against the door, smashed up against the door, trying to go around a corner too fast.
Yeah,
and screaming and tears.
Screaming is the problem. It messes up the audio.
I know. Your can't hear the radio with all the screaming going on.
So let's do this car review.
So we're talking about the 2025 Subaru.
No, not we. You.
I am talking about the 2025 Subaru Outback Touring XT. Now, this is the Subaru. It's been around quite some time. This particular model, the Outback, is one of the larger ones. Comes in 9 available trim levels. Wow. So we're not going to go through all of them, but there is a base model, and it goes up to the Touring XT at the top of the line, which is what we just happen to be driving. Now, this is considered a small SUV, 5-passenger, And on the outside of it, you're going to find a lot of things that you expect from a vehicle of Subaru's caliber that's kind of focused on getting people through bad weather, bad road conditions and things. So you got LED fog lights, LED headlights that are steering responsive. They also have the auto off and on. It's got a lot of satin chrome that is on the side folding mirrors that are heated and retractable. The roof rails that are very usable in this vehicle, they've got a retractable crossbars. And because this vehicle isn't so tall as some of the other SUVs that are out there, you can actually put stuff up on it while you're standing on the ground. You don't need a ladder. Now, it's got the hands-free power liftgate in the back of it. It's got a power moonroof, and it rolls on some nice 18-inch alloy wheels. Now, you get inside of it, because this is the upper trim level. We've got a Napa leather-trimmed seating surfaces, and it does have the Subaru Starlink 11.6-inch multimedia with navigation monitor in it. So it's got plenty of...
Napa leather, does that also come with a bottle of wine?
It should.
How does that work?
Yeah, when they
exactly?
ship it in, that's where they ship it in. They get the leather from all the cows that are eating all the grapes that are out there. So it does have lots of, it's got 4 USB ports in it. The front seats are heated and ventilated seats, while the second row, it's the outboard seating areas only are the ones that are heated. Now, it does have the front view monitor. So, again, this is kind of centric to going off-road, light off-road. You could probably do some rock climbing if you wanted to in it, because it does have over 8 inches of clearance in it. Got a rear view camera. It's got a rear seat reminder in it, retractable cargo cover, so that when you put stuff in the back of it, it's out of sight, out of mind. If they can't see it, they're not going to want to break into it. And it comes with a Harman Kardon audio on it. Now, up under the hood, since this is the larger trim level, or the upper trim level, it's got a 2.4 liter turbo boxer type engine. So it's still the flat engine, but it's got the turbo on it. It's backed by a CVT that's got an 8-speed manual setting on it for shift mode. So if you get out into the mud or someplace where you really want to have a little more control, you can kick it over there and it'll respond like it's 8-speed manual transmission instead of the CVT. This vehicle only weighs 3,641 pounds, so it's not that heavy, but it will tow 2,700 pounds. Now, the EPA says you should be looking for about 22 in the city, on the Highway 29, combined 25. Now, I drove this car 345.8 miles and got 24.7 across that.
Not bad.
And I really enjoyed driving this vehicle because even with it's got the 4-wheel independent suspension on it, and it is raised, so it gets the 8.7-inch clearance, but it gives the suspension a lot of travel in there. So when you hit the bumps and stuff, it absorbs a lot of things on the road a lot better, and it was really a nice, comfortable drive. It was
like driving Grandpa's deuce and a quarter down
something
the
like
highway.
that.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
It was surprisingly compliant, but it was firm. You know, you felt confident in what you were doing. Now, the base model on the Outback is at $28,895, so it's kind of down in there. But since we were at the number 9 trim level up there, the base trim price starts at $42,795. Had a couple of little options, had some destination fees. MSRP as tested is $44,331.
Still not that bad. It's right there in the sweet spot, actually.
It is, because if you look at the Honda CR-V, which is, again, another small SUV that's considered a competitor, it's $30,100. The Nissan Rogue, you don't hear much about that anymore, but it's $29,230. Or the Toyota RAV4, $30,245. They're all small SUVs. They've got a little bit of off-roadability about them as far as getting into mud or gravel or something like that without getting out in there and too serious. So if you're looking for something in that category, the Subaru is obviously one you need to look at, and that's my review.
Very good.
Of the 2025 Subaru Outback.
Speaking of Subaru, for the second time in 4 years, led Consumer Reports' annual brand report card as domestic automakers struggled in a ranking that measures factors including vehicle performance, safety, and reliability. The 25 report card, issued about 2 months earlier than usual, is part of an updated data set released by Consumer Reports that packages all of its automotive rankings in one spot. The outlet on December 5th also issued the 25 list of most reliable brands, which Subaru topped as well. So here are the top 10. You ready? 10, Infiniti. 9, Toyota. 8, Hyundai. 7, Kia. 6, Audi. Kind of surprising.
Yeah.
5, Honda. 4, Porsche. 3, Lexus. 2, BMW. 1, Subaru. That's the brand report card. And by the way, at the bottom of the list is Jeep.
Oh. Well.
Most reliable new vehicle brands, top 10.
Okay.
Hyundai is 10. Kia 9. BMW 8. Audi 7. Mazda 6. Acura 5. Honda 4. Toyota 3. Lexus 2. Subaru 1.
Oh, very good.
Consumer Reports said conventional hybrids, which do not plug in to recharge and run both an internal combustion engine and an electric motor, are the most reliable type of electrified vehicle. The outlet found that conventional hybrids have roughly the same rate of problems as gasoline-only models, despite being more complicated to build. Plug-in hybrids, however, have 70% more problems on average.
Wow.
While EVs themselves have 42% more. So I just thought that was interesting, and it kind of tied into your car review, Mr. Mars. You're welcome.
Speaking of Consumer Reports, our listeners, if they go to consumerreports.org and type in Wheel Time, they can get a discount on a subscription.
Is it 10%?
I believe it's 10% or $10.
$10?
Do it.
Do it, yeah. Just find out. Go.
You know, and they sent me a thing to subscribe to Consumer Reports, and I didn't use that.
Oh, be darned.
Stupid me.
Ah.
What do I know?
Yeah.
Clearly nothing.
Apparently not.
We can't get him in the shot. You're going to have to adjust the shot.
Well, I think he's going to have to come around over to here.
We'll put him next to me, and then you get out of the
Hey,
shot.
why don't y'all just share a chair?
Yeah.
I was going to put him on my lap, but
Come
he
sit
shook
on-
his
yeah.
head no.
No, he didn't shake his head no.
Come around here.
Come around.
Hello.
Come around.
You're on, David.
Doesn't work.
You're on, David.
I know how to work.
David, how you been?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. What?
I'm kind of deaf to myself.
If you whisper a little bit more.
Well, I heard there was booze and
Booze?
There's booze. Do you want booze?
Booze and food.
Food and booze.
We got food. David Ainsley, our chief engineer, has joined us. He was going to join us on the remote broadcast today, but since we're having food and beverages after the broadcast today, David came to join us, and we appreciate you drive up from Friendswood today.
Yeah. And the Ladies Auxiliary, In Wheel Time Ladies Auxiliary should be here.
Yeah. Did you go through the house, or did you come through the gate? Gate.
Yeah.
Well, at any rate.
And Kyle just got accepted to UT Arlington today.
Whoa.
Really?
Congratulations.
So it's a great day at the Ainsley household.
Yep, and I'm stopping to rob a bank on the way home.
Let's not even go there.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, they say that if you get a loan from the bank, put in a 30-year loan, you got 30 years to pay it. But if you rob the bank, you can get out in 10 years.
Better yet,
Exactly.
rob the armored car
At an HEB.
At an HEB,
Yeah.
and go, walk away with a
that's a
sack
great
full of
idea.
cash,
Which is a quarter mile away from the police station.
I'm puzzled at that one. He just walked up and grabbed a
I don't get
I don't
it.
know about all that, but
Whatever.
shots fired.
Kind of like what they used to do with cars when they were charging these interest rates.
Exactly.
But now it's all.
Stellantis recalling 317,630 Ram trucks because of a problem with a brake hydraulic control unit. The unit may fail or malfunction, affecting the anti-lock brake system and traction control, increasing the risk of a crash. The recall includes the 2017 and 2018 Ram heavy duties, the 2500, 3500, 4500, and 5500. That, according to NHTSA documents, 100% of affected vehicles have the defect. Oops.
That way you don't have to worry about it. If you got one, you got the defect.
If you got it, you got it.
Yeah. It's kind of like, well, I'm not even going to go there.
won't rub off.
It won't rub off. My mind went in a completely different direction, but you can only imagine what that was.
Because David's here.
Glass sunroof panel may detach on the Mercedes-Benz. Pretty much everything known to man. It is. I mean, look at the size of that list right here.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Look at the size
What
of
is
that
that,
thing.
2 dozen vehicles?
Oh,
Mercedes-Benz. You got a Mercedes-Benz, go to safercar.gov, type in your VIN number, and it will tell you glass roof panel may detach.
Nice.
Martha, there's a hole up there on top of the head up here. What happened to that glass is up there?
Martha, where are you?
It's lodged in the truck behind us. Steering intermediate shaft may fracture. We hate fractured shafts, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mars, go ahead.
My.
Toyota Corolla and Corolla Hybrid 23 to 24 being recalled. Hyundai Elantras and Santa Fe's 21 to 22 models. Rear view image may not display. We talked about that with Jack. Engine stall from software error. Honda CRF 1100. Is that a motorcycle? I don't know what that is.
Yes, it is.
Tesla Model Y for 24. Front seat back recliners improperly welded. And Porsche Macan Electric 24 to 25. Headlights are too bright.
Yeah.
Power
Headlights are
surge.
too bright.
Power surge.
Most of them are these days.
I don't ride it.
Blinded on the road.
David,
The
how
lumens.
have you been?
Doing good.
Good. How are things with your radio station group?
Everything's good.
That's good.
Yep. Had a nice holiday, no calls.
It's even
working.
better.
Everything working?
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, it's only taken you, half a year to get all that straightened out?
Nah, a year and a half.
Oh, a year and a half. My
And he
apologies.
forgot the first year. He can't think back that far.
No, I can't.
I can't think about yesterday.
I can't. That's exactly right.
We pulled this off this morning.
Yeah, we did somehow, some way. And we did it really in record time. I think you got here at 8:45.
Well, yep.
Yeah, I was right behind him. Yeah.
And Jeff was right behind him, and I managed to foul it all up, but I kind of helped. And we put the whole studio back together because it was all piled up in Mars' truck. So we did all this in an hour and 15 minutes, just by the hair of our chin.
We had
chin.
3 minutes.
Got it by
And I didn't even break a nail.
Yeah. Let's take a break, and then we'll do some other fun stuff as we head up to the top of the hour. Did want to remind you that if you download our app to your phone, you'll have access to the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show 24/7. Just look for In Wheel Time Car Talk in the App Store. Check us out on the Odyssey Radio app,
There you
David, where you can stream our show there. Podcasts are available from your favorite podcast provider. We also video stream our weekly show on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com, 10 to noon Central Time every Saturday morn. The N-Wheel Time Car Talk Show will continue right after this quick break.
The Tex-Mex dining experience is defined by Lupi Tortilla, your destination for Texas's best beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. Since 1983, Lupi Tortilla has served authentic and time-tested recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Atmosphere is part of the award-winning experience at Lupi Tortilla, all developed in a little house near Highway 6 and I-10 in West Houston. Visit any of the Lupi Tortillas and you'll see the same attention to detail in each and every location. Start your Lupi experience with queso flammeado and guacamole, along with a classic frozen margarita. Dine on famous Lupi beef and chicken fajitas, or pepper shrimp brochette, or a fish or vegetarian entree, and finish with a scrumptious flan for dessert. Find Lupi Tortilla in Houston, College Station, Beaumont, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas-Fort Worth. There's a Texas location near you. The recipes are authentic and time-tested. The ingredients always fresh. Lupi Tortilla, he's pretty good. Your car is a direct reflection of you, so don't be satisfied with color fade or a dingy, dull appearance. Get rid of those terrible automated car wash scratches. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your Save the Paint company. John Gray and his team of detailing experts can help your cars finish without a full repaint. Searching for the real experts in window tint or windshield protection? Gulf Coast Auto Shield. Dash cams, radar detectors, Gulf Coast Auto Shield. Got a new car? Get that thing protected as soon as you take delivery. If you don't know which of the multitude of protection products to go with, John Gray will give you an honest opinion and won't sell you something you don't need or can't afford. John will help you understand the many options and pricing right on the spot. He's your guy to have your ride looking its best and protected too. See the state-of-the-art shop yourself. Free tours anytime. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is easy to get to, located just south of the Southwest Freeway on the Sam Houston Parkway. Gulf Coast Auto Shield, full-service luxury car care today, and online at gcautoshield.com.
Hey, today's In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is sponsored by Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex, Gulf Coast Auto Shield, and Pro-Am Auto Accessories. Be sure and support them through your ride. All right. Mr. Zekin has the Cruise In and events calendar.
Yes, Toys for Tots car show. That's all coming about. Every weekend there's a Toys for Tots. Everybody's doing Toys for Tots. But this December 14th, next weekend.
I like tater tots.
Yep, I do too, with chili. Pasadena, Texas, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The Open Car Show invites you to take your whatever make or model you have. There's going to be top 15 entries will receive awards. It's a $20 entry or a $30 gift, whatever you want to do. Either way, they'll let you in. 50-50 raffle will be held. They got DJ, bands, entertainment for the kids, all that good stuff. That's at 6915 Spencer Highway in Pasadena. The next one is a holiday car show. This one is set also for the 14th. It goes from 1 to 4 p.m. The Brazos Port High School student parking lot located at 1800 West 2nd Street in Freeport. Now, we're going to give Freeport a shout-out because we never really talk about Freeport. So there you go. Car enthusiasts are welcome. Bring their vehicle. You got Nifty Garage via Facebook or Instagram. You can go and register there. $25 for the car. It is at 1800 West 2nd Street in Freeport, Texas. And then Sunday after that, Sunday, which is the 15th, you got the Christmas is Coming car show. It is on the 15th. It's going to be at 2620 Pearland Parkway in Pasadena, Texas, again from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Yeah, hey, and while we talked about the
I had Don's picture up there.
Christmas Toys for Tots, we didn't get to go to Gulf Coast Auto Shield today.
Right.
But one of the things they were going to do was have the toy drive where if you brought an unwrapped toy new, you could register for a free paint seal treatment from ceramic.
Ceramic coating.
Yeah. So that, but they're still going to do that. If you want to take a new unwrapped toy by Gulf Coast Auto Shield, drop it off up until December the 18th. Then all the people that bring that by, they're going to donate the toys, but they're going to take all those registrations and they'll have a drawing. And at the event on January the 11th, they'll announce who the winner is.
That's cool.
So you can still have the Toys for Tots to help out with that and still get the ceramic coating on the car.
Yep.
And if you want to, take your hoopty up there and register it. And I guess that they'll try to work their magic on that.
It's possible.
Even if you don't win, you can still get an estimate on what it would cost.
Absolutely. Check it out.
Yep.
See what they got. If you've never been there, it's a pretty impressive place.
Do you have any hoopties in your garage?
I've got a lot of stuff in my garage, but no hoopty.
You don't have any hoopties.
No,
you got any hoopties, David?
Well, if I had a microphone, does it work? Yeah.
It works just fine.
Pull it closer to you. There you go.
Yeah, I've got you on I had to plug you up this morning.
I don't have a David cam.
I had to plug you up this morning, and that's one of those channels that I haven't used very often, and so it's good.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Needs a little cleaning.
No hoopties, but I got an 03, so is that a classic after 25 years? That's my question.
Will be after
at
25 years.
So what does that mean? What do I get for that?
You get nothing. You can get a classic, an antique classic license plate. But why would you want to do that? It means that you're old. Older.
Well, you could be a young
Speak for
person and
yourself,
buy
buddy.
a classic.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I didn't do that.
And you get a state inspection.
No.
Yeah.
No,
After
there's
25?
no benefit other than saying classic car.
Yeah, I
okay,
know.
got it.
Yeah. You get a special license.
You might
plate.
could get a break on your insurance, depending on how many miles
That's what I
you
was
drive
wondering.
it. Yeah, because you don't drive it to work every day, things like that. You can get a cut on it.
Okay, I'm gonna make that call.
Okay, I'll bet. I changed insurance agents here recently. My old insurance agent, I was with Allstate forever, sold his agency and retired. Okay, well, he's out or was out in Katy. Katy? I'm not going to go off that. Whatever. So I found somebody over here.
You don't have to go there.
I know that, but I want somebody. If I'm going to change, I want somebody that's close by, so I can go up there and harass them.
Yeah, my agent
I'm gonna
retired
harass
a
my
few years
insurance
ago.
company. I'm
A
gonna do
different
that.
agent
Yeah.
took over his place, but the girls that worked in that office
Are still there.
they're still there, and that's who I call. They know anything and everything I want, and they take care of it.
Okay.
Mine's right over here, not very far from here.
Mine is too. It's right now. It's up on 59. Mm-hmm. It's good.
I'm a State Farm guy.
Are you? Mm-hmm. What is your carrier?
Texas Farm Bureau,
Texas Farm Bureau.
and they're in Anahuac.
Anahuac. Where's Anahuac, Mike?
Between here and there.
Closer to the coast.
Yeah. Are you? Who are you with, David?
Progressive.
Are you?
Yeah.
How's that working out for you?
Has it been good?
Really?
Yeah.
No claims. You don't have any problems with Progressive.
That's right.
That's right. No claims.
Yeah, we get the whole bundle thing, the house,
Yeah.
the
Yeah, that's what we
cars,
did, yeah.
the boats, and the planes, all that stuff.
That's,
yeah.
that's
The trains.
The planes.
Yeah.
The planes, the trains, automobiles.
All right.
It's
Well-
the boats that are on that lake out in front of his house. Watch them.
That's it.
Oh Lord. We don't.
Speaking of boats, is your boat taken care of up in the UP?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because there's got like 800 feet of snow up there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess that the lake is all frozen over.
Oh, yeah.
The lake will never totally freeze.
Is it
You ever
Huron?
go up there?
No, it doesn't.
What lake is it?
Huron.
Huron.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking of Superior. I was on the Marquette side.
Well, in the middle of the lake, probably not, but along the shoreline.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do
And
you
they
ever go up there in the winter?
No, I don't have a shanty to go fishing.
People don't go there in the winter. People that have their summer occupation and things go south
we're
during the
down
winter.
here.
Oh, yeah. Around October, they start buttoning
Except
that
for
place
the
up.
one guy that runs the marina up there. He's there
Yeah,
all year long.
he is.
And he takes his ice buggy across the
Ice
lake
buggy.
to get to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a hovercraft. Got
Ice
two of
buggy.
them.
To him. Yeah.
Yeah. The way to.
Do you ever talk to him about how bad it is up there when when the wind is a howling and it's like 20 below?
Yeah.
What
It's
is-
cold.
And you never been there. You didn't go
No.
at least once just to see?
I got pictures.
I'm going to put my jacket on after this conversation.
I'd like to
Cold.
go. I just haven't been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I would imagine
I
that
think
it would
you
be a little bit well, maybe not difficult to get there. Well, not across the lake where you are, but on the mainland.
Yeah, it's
Touchy.
Well-
two-lane road, so I'm assuming they keep it clear.
Well,
Yeah.
you got your team of dogs, list dogs
Yeah,
team, and
pretty
you know,
much.
the mush and all that.
No, but it
Iditarod.
Obviously, spending some time up there a year and a half ago, it's beautiful and it's a beautiful town,
Cedarville.
Cedarville, and I mean they got year-round residences in Cedarville.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now they got a school there, K through 12 in one building.
there you go.
Yeah,
I don't know what you would do in the wintertime up there.
they snowmobile and they go.
No, but I mean to
Ski.
make a living.
Oh, I guess you'll work at the grocery store or the bar.
Yeah, the bar.
Or a snow shoveling business,
There's that.
snowmobile, snow machine repair, all that.
We missed our Hemming Soul Car Weekly. Ryan, well,
I was going to do that with David, too. That was
Yeah,
good.
no, come on, man.
okay, here's one: 1955 Cadillac Coupe de Ville, two-door.
Jeff.
How much? What did it sell
46.
for? 46. It's clean. It looks
22.
completely stock. You say 22. What do you say, David?
30.
30. How about 24.5? That would be a car to have. Pass that down.
Man.
How about this one? I think John Hovis has got one similar to this. A 1953 Dodge Power Wagon
Oh, yeah.
truck, pickup
Yeah,
truck.
he does have one.
A 53 Dodge Power Wagon. What do you think that sold for? It looks like it's brand new is what it looks like.
Looks basically original.
Yeah. What do you think?
I'm going to go 26.
I was going to go 27.
Okay. How about
I was
32.5?
going to say 35.
32.5. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to leave you out.
Yeah, you left me out.
I did. 67 Pontiac
You get used
GTO.
to
Looks all original. I don't know about the paint. It looks
67?
brand new. 67 Pontiac GTO.
Oh, man.
It,
I say 32.
25.
I was going to say 25. Okay, 28.
68 250.
Whoa! There must be something
That was
else.
my second guess.
No, it's all original. I'm telling you. It's
Yeah,
gotta
but it's got to have 3 deuces or something else in it to
Yeah,
push it up
whatever.
like that.
I don't know.
Well, you can't
it's a
tell that
goat.
from the picture.
You got a goat.
Hey, we'd love to hear from you. Shoot us an email, info@inwheeltime.com. Quick break. We'll be back after this.
The holidays are upon us, and Pro-Am Auto Accessories is your local one-stop for the auto enthusiast on your gift list. Pro-Am Auto has been serving Houston since 1984, providing world-class products for sports cars, European sedans, and American muscle. Pro-Am was one of the very first distributors in the U.S. for brands such as Recaro, Redline, Momo, Corbeau, and Simpson. Located in the heart of Houston's premier shopping corridor, the Galleria area, Pro-Am's walk-in storefront includes an 8,000-square-foot warehouse and showroom with installation and service bays. Pro-Am reaches a worldwide audience through ProAmAuto.com, taking its local reputation to the rest of the world. Holiday gift giving is alive and well at Pro-Am Auto. If you don't see what you're looking for on the website, call and Pro-Am will lend you a hand. Pro-Am Auto, 6125 Richmond at Greenridge in Houston's Galleria area. Call them at 713-781-7755. The award-winning In Wheel Time Car Talk Show brings you great guest interviews each week from manufacturers and suppliers to the aftermarket, racers, enthusiasts, and other friends just like you and me who love to talk about all things automotive. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show takes it to the road, too, with remotes at popular cruise-ins and shows. In Wheel Time's live video and audio stream can be found on the Odyssey radio app, YouTube, Facebook, and InWheelTime.com every Saturday, 10 to noon Central Time. Or grab a podcast anytime from your favorite podcast provider.
Oh, I got too many microphones to turn on here. Well, that's all for this week's In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Be sure and check us out online at InWheelTime.com. Christmas cards and birthday money can be sent to Don at InWheelTime.com. We like car pics, so send us some of your car with a description and any info you want to include. We'll feature it in a future show. Hey, when you're looking for award-winning car talk, you can find the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show 24/7 on the In Wheel Time app. Download it today if you haven't already. Grab a podcast anytime from your favorite podcast provider and look for us on the Odyssey radio app. You can also find us on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. The In Wheel Time video technical director is we need more jazzy Jeff Seekin. The booking agent, video editor, and people finder, Mike Out of This World Mars. The chief engineer, David Ainsley. I'm Don Armstrong. We hope you join us again next week for our live show coming to you from the Car Shack in Texas, USA, 10 to noon Central Time. A shout out to Marge Adams and her keeper, Lori. Thank you very much for watching and for all of you. Also, best wishes to George and Twyla Skelton. We love you guys. Thank you all. Be safe out there and have yourself a great week.